morning. Here we go again. And this time in Matthew's Gospel, we've just finished the great Sermon on the Mount. And we're in the first day after Jesus comes down from the mountain. And his very first experience is to be greeted by a leper who says to him, "If you want to, you can cure me." And Jesus says, "Of course I want to." And he reaches out his hand and he touches the leper. And he breaks the law and he cures the leper. And then later on, when he comes to the town, a Roman centurion, who could not be very much loved by anybody, comes to him and says, "Lord, would you save my servant?" And Jesus says, after curing the servant, he says, "I haven't found such faith in all of Israel." And then he goes to Simon's house and finds his mother-in-law in bed with a fever. And he cures her. And then towards the end of the day, he says to the disciples, "Come on, let's cross over to the other side." Jesus gets into the boat and the disciples follow him. And Jesus, obviously exhausted, goes to sleep. And after that, up springs a huge storm. I mean, Galilee is noted for surprising storms, and this is a big one. And the disciples come to Jesus and they say, "Lord, save us, for we are perishing." Not we're in trouble or something might. No, we are perishing. So Jesus says, "Why are you so frightened, you men of little faith?" Then he gets up, rebukes the wind and the waves, and a whole great calm comes over everything. And after that, the disciples say, "What kind of man is this, that even the wind and the waves obey?" And that's the text for today, and it's a short but very compact and significant little text. And I just want to draw three different things out of it. The first is, what kind of man is this? And I suspect the disciples might have been even more afraid after seeing the wonderful works of calming the storm and the seas than they were in the middle of it. Because here they'd been witness to in Matthew's Gospel, the 3 chapters of the Sermon on the Mount that includes 50-something instructions for life. And then they'd seen 3 healing miracles: the leper, the centurion's servant, and Simon's mother-in-law. And then on top of all that, they'd seen the calming of the waves and the wind. And they were left with the question that we heard on Sunday, the Feast of St. Peter and Paul, when Jesus says to the disciples, "And who do you say I am?" And now the disciples are asking themselves the same question. Who is this man? And I think it's a question for us too. And I'm sure amongst a group of us there'll be a whole variety of answers. Who is this man? And then the second thing, if we follow Jesus as disciples and try to follow him, we can expect storms. We can expect a rough ride. And that might include opposition. It might include doubts. It might include failures. It might include misunderstandings. And a whole series of possibilities. Yeah. So if we follow Jesus as disciples, we can also expect some storms. But the third thing is, in those storms, we are neither alone nor forgotten. Jesus is there in the boat with us. He might calm the storms, and he mightn't, but he's there with us, and we can trust him. And in fact, he says, have faith. Faith like the centurion had, and faith like the disciples at that stage failed to have. Okay, so that's it, the storm at sea, and Jesus calms them all. May he also calm the storms in our world at this moment. Take good care, have a great week, and we'll see you next time. God bless.